All right, so today I want to talk about this post I seen from r/union on Reddit. Why is it always poor people should cut back and billionaires should hoard less, and not billionaires should hoard less money? And I've talked about this over and over and over and over again, and until I'm blue in the face. But I'm gonna bring it up. And the problem with this is these people have no understanding of how the real world works. And they have this filter that whenever someone says something that goes against their worldview, that they just reinterpret it to mean what they want it to mean, right? And the only group of people that want the average person to have less are the people that want to consistently raise taxes and raise regulations, right? I mean, this super insane worldview that if you don't think that billionaires should be taxed at 90% or whatever the latest socialist trope is, that somehow that means you don't care about poor people. It's like, it doesn't make any sense, right? And the other big problem is that these people, they don't understand how the real world works, in that billionaires are not hoarding money, right? And again, like, if you don't even understand the existing system, like, you have no business trying to come up with solutions, right? And the problem with these people is that they think that your average billionaire literally has billions of dollars sitting in a bank account. And that's not how it works. That never is how it works. And again, it just goes to show just how stupid they are with their understanding of finance and economics, right? In that billionaires are billionaires every single time because they own billions of dollars worth of assets, typically real estate or stock, right? That's always what it is, right? Donald Trump is a billionaire, not because he has billions of dollars of literal money, whether it's in a bank account or cash. He's a billionaire because he has a lot of real estate, right? Elon Musk is the richest, or one of the richest people in the world, because he owns a lot of Tesla stock, right? Not because he has a lot of money, right? When these guys go to buy a house or a car, maybe a car, but a house, they will still finance that house. Why? Number one, because they can get a good rate, and number two, because they probably don't actually have the cash. I mean, they could get it, I'm sure, but it wouldn't make any sense when you can get a really good rate and you can compound that money faster, in other ways, right? So again, my point is that they have no understanding at all how the existing system works, right? In that, if you raised taxes, like raised income taxes on, let's say, people making whatever, over $100 million, like, the way you would have to do it is you would have to force people to sell off assets, right? But then, number one, that would cause issues in the existing markets, and number two, that would massively de-incentivize people from creating successful businesses in the future. And on top of that, it wouldn't help the poor, because as everybody with two brain cells to rub together knows, when the government raises taxes, a significant amount of that money goes towards the bureaucracy, right? It doesn't actually see the average poor person. And if it does, it's in a way that only incentivizes them to continue their existing situation, right? I mean, the fact that we pay so many people not to work, the fact that we pay people to be unhealthy, or at the very least we massively incentivize them to do so, the fact that we pay people to raise their kids in a terrible situation, and yet we're shocked that more poverty exists, that more mental health issues exist. Like, anyone that has the slightest inkling of understanding of economics and just basic psychology can figure out that when you do that, when you incentivize something, you get more of it, right? And the reason, my fundamental reason for being so critical of these kinds of people, and again, it's not all of them, but it is most of them, is that they are the ones that are the most virulent supporters, or the biggest supporters of the policies that hurt the poor the most, right? They are the biggest supporters of that, because they are the ones that want more taxes. They are the ones that want more regulations. They are the ones that want rent control and all this stuff that makes these problems worse. And they can't figure it out, because typically, like, when you look at like rent control is a perfect example, right? Someone who doesn't understand economics, or someone who just cares about their ideology, when they think of the concept of rent control, they think, oh, that's such a great thing that we can keep housing affordable. But someone who understands economics, right, and understands reality knows that when you impose rent control, well, what happens is the people that own those existing properties, if they can't make money off it, well, they're going to maintain it less, right? So you get lower quality housing, and people who are thinking about building new properties, if they can't make money off it, well, they're not going to do it. So you get lower quality and you get less, right? Which again, look at like the Section 8 housing and stuff in the States. That's the prime example. Yeah, it's affordable, but you know, it's riddled with crime. The buildings are in terrible condition. Like the list goes on and on. Right? So again, people need to think this stuff through, which they refuse to do it, which is like whatever. That's just the way people are. But people need to think this stuff through better. Right? We cannot solve these problems if people can't actually think about it. Right? And again, nobody is saying poor people should cut back. The problem is with these people is that they think that the only way, right, the only way that we can benefit the poor is if the government taxes rich people more. Right? It's the only way. But again, there's many problems with that line of thinking. Number one, it's garbage, and that there's many other ways, and there's many more effective ways. And number two, even if you do think that that's the only way, well, like I said, a massive amount of that money will be siphoned off by the existing bureaucratic system. And most of it will never see the hands of the poor people. And even if it does, the goal of it will not be to solve poverty. The goal of it will be to keep people dependent on the government. Right? I mean, if welfare was so awesome and so great, well, why is poverty still such a huge issue? I mean, trillions of dollars have been poured into the welfare system, and yet poverty is still a huge issue, right? I mean, you look at the places that are spending the most money. I mean, look at how much money places like San Francisco and Los Angeles spend per year on homelessness, but yet the problem is as bad as it's ever been, right? And that's another big problem that these people face, is that they think in their mind that the only way to solve the problem is more money, right? More money, right? And it's impossible for anything other than a highly centralized bureaucratic state to solve the problem. It's the only way, right? And when you have that ignorance and pig-headed of a way of thinking, well, yeah, of course you're never going to solve the problem, right? Because you have such a narrow-minded worldview, it's not even funny. So anyway, that's what I wanted to bring up today. If you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.